Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got a debut on the channel for Memeristor. Memeristor was one of the constructors behind our recent Lockout Line Sudoku hunt. It's not good that I'm already starting to cough. And this puzzle is called Horseshoes and Handgrenades, and the testers say it is absolutely brilliant. And it appeals to me because I think horseshoes and handgrenades is an old saying. It's something like, I can't remember how it goes. It's something about close only matters if it's horseshoes or hand grenades. Because horseshoes was an old game you played at the fair where you used to throw horseshoes at a stick. And if you got it near the stick, you still got some points. And hand grenades, obviously, if you throw those close to your target, it probably still has the desired effect. So yeah, it's sort of an expression that means most things are binary. And that should appeal to us on Cracking the Cryptic. Right and wrong, these are things we strive to achieve, or we strive to achieve the right part, not the wrong part at all. Anyway, I'll read the rules of this one in just a second. It's quite nice to note as well, we've got some horseshoes. And I guess the X's are hand grenades, are they? Yeah, so it's very thematic and indeed symmetrical, I'm just noticing. Very symmetrical, in fact. In fact, let me just pause there. Let's just admire this grid, which I should have appreciated immediately. But if we look at the grid, there is symmetry between all of the hand grenades, I think, somewhat. Interestingly, and the horseshoes as well are the horseshoes are entirely symmetric. By symmetrical I mean if we rotate the grid around 180 degrees we would actually end up on the same sorts of shapes. So if you rotated this shape here 180 degrees it would end up there. The only things that aren't symmetrical I think are these short purple lines here. And the thermometers are almost symmetrical, but the bulbs don't end up in the same place when we rotate the grid. That is very interesting. So this puzzle, a lot of care and attention has gone into the creation of this. We can say that straight away. Anyway, I digress. What did I want to mention before I do read you the rules? There were two things. Oh, I need to say happy birthday. Sam Thwaites. Yeah, you turned 40, I think. Congratulations. I gather you've been watching the channel for a while. Your friend Joe wrote to me and I am very happy to wish you a happy birthday. I hope you have a super day and I hope you get to try this puzzle and it's amazing. The only other thing I want to mention is of course over on Patreon at the moment. Many of you have been trying this already. We have this incredible Paint by Numbers Institute. They're bonus puzzles which are all Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles. These are beautiful things because you always get a picture at the end of the puzzle if you finish it correctly. So for example this one is a bit of a clue as to the picture you might get. You get a wave if you complete this puzzle correctly. Don't get stung. I wonder what could be in that grid. But yeah, these are completely free to play. And these are to whet your appetites. Big thanks to Panthera and to the Asylum for creating these. To whet your appetites for our November monthly reward, which is obviously coming out on the 1st of November and is going to be something special. 45 of these puzzles, all of which have been arranged in sort of a school system. So you have to start in the lower levels of the school and work your way up all the way to your degree in Japanese sum Sudoku puzzles. It's going to be magic. And as I say, you can play those puzzles right now just over on Patreon. Right, that all said and done, let's get on with the rules of horseshoes and hand grenades. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That's easy to understand. Along purple lines, digits must form a sequence of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So these are Renban horseshoes and lines. What that means is if you work out that square was a 3 and that square was a 6 somehow, for example, you now know that those two squares have to be 4 and 5 because you know that overall this line needs to be sequential. So 3, 4, 5, 6 would have to be the contents of the line. They can be in any order, so it's not like the thermos, which we'll probably come to in a minute, which definitely have to be in a very well, a very clear order. So along thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. So it's a bit like mercury. As the heat rises, our numbers need to rise as we go along thermometers. So if this was a 3, now this square has to be higher than 3. Say it's 7. This square has to be higher than 7. Let's say 9. 3, 7, 9 would be an absolutely legitimate way of filling the thermo. Anything else? Yes. Self-separated by an X, i.e. a hand grenade, must contain digits summing to 10, and not all possible X's are given. So that means this domino here, if that was a 3, that would have to be a 7 to make sure the domino added up to 10. Why does it say not all possible X's are given? Well, that's just to allow us to know that it's perfectly possible, for example, for this domino here to sum to 10. If that's a 3, that can absolutely be a 7. It's not necessary for dominoes that sum to 10 to have an X between them. It's just some of them do. So we're getting positive information about where 10s live, and we're not able to use negative information to deduce, for example, that if this is a 3, this cannot be a 7. That's why that last bit of the rules is there. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the first thing I think I can say with some certainty is that these thermos are not going to be helpful. Not even Mark Goodliff would pencil mark these thermos because they are too short and they don't deserve it. So, what do we know about I think it's probably the Renban lines we have to start with, but I'm not sure. Well, a lot of the Renban puzzles I've seen recently have made use of mod 3. So if you have a 3-cell Renban line, it's quite interesting. You know it's divisible, its contents are divisible by 3. Because of course the digits are consecutive. So the contents of a 3-cell Renban line could always be written algebraically as 3x. Because the central digit of the 3, let's label that x, the lower digit would then be x minus 1, the higher digit would be x plus 1, sum all those together, you get 3x. So you can always use mod 3 when you have 3-cell Renban lines. It doesn't work the same way with 4-cell Renban lines. The only thing I suppose to note about a 4-cell Renban line is it must contain 2 even and 2 odd numbers. Aha! Yeah, so that square is odd. That is interesting. So maybe this is a parity puzzle. How do we know this square is odd? Well, how many even digits are there in one complete box of a Sudoku? Well, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. It's never too late. No, I'm not doing the song. But there's 4. There's 4. Now we know that there must be 2 on the 4-cell Renban line because these are consecutive. They must, because of maths and the nature of numbers, they must have 2 even and 2 odd numbers if they're consecutive. That must be an even and an odd. That must be an even and an odd. So altogether in this box there are 4 evens in those 8 cells, and therefore the 9th cell must be odd, and therefore this square is odd because 10, last time I checked, is an even digit, and the only way of making this domino add up to an even digit, if that's odd, is to make sure that is odd as well. So this is either 1, 9 or 3, 7. And I'm just looking to see if I can see anywhere else I can make use of parity. Not actually seeing anywhere at the moment, which is a bit worrying. The other thought I'm having, I will just mention it in case it turns out to be relevant, is Fistemafel. So Fistemafel's ring here, these 4-cell Renban lines in the 2x2 corner areas, if you're familiar with Fistemafel, you will be aware that these 16 cells here are the exact same 16 digits that appear in that ring of the Sudoku, which is a really remarkable thing. It is true. But I normally only prove it if I can see a way of using it. And I'm not actually seeing anything particularly useful in a ring that's going to limit it. So I obviously know this red ring consists of 4 sequences of consecutive digits because of the nature of the corners, but I don't actually like the look of that either. Oh dear. That's lost its orangeness. Let's restore it. So what else is it then that we've got to be looking at? This symmetry is also, I mean, it really is very tight, this, isn't it? Right, okay. I have something now. Yeah, in fact, that's very interesting. I was looking at this box and thinking about Fistemfell, but actually I should look at those 6 cells together, I think, because what digits can we not include now on this Renban line? And the answer is an extreme digit. You can't have a 1 or a 9 on the Renban line, because of course the moment you do try and have a 1 or a 9 on the Renban line, you've broken the ability to form a 10 domino. Because the nature of a 10 domino, given you can't have 5 on it in a Sudoku because double 5 won't work, is it's going to have a high digit and a low digit. So the low digit is going to be 1, 2, 3 or 4. The high digit is going to be 6, 7, 8 or 9. So if you try and put 1 here, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Renban because it's got to be consecutive, and now you can't do the 10 domino. If you try and have 9 here, you're going to have 9, 8, 7, 6, and you still can't do the 10 domino. So this is wrong. Well, not wrong, but it means that in this box, same is true in box 2. There we go, exactly the same construction. You've got a 4-cell Renban and an X. 4-cell Renban and an X. No, actually, box 4 doesn't work the same way. You have got a 4-cell Renban line, but you could hide the extreme digit here on this X. So, you know, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, you could put the 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and this would be a high digit, and that wouldn't be broken. So maybe you can't do it there. You can do it in box 7. You can do it, of course, well, because of the symmetry, I suppose, you can do it in all of those cells as well. So, in all of these boxes, well, it's the Renban lines we need to focus on. You can't put 1s and 9s in any of these positions. So, I'm not seeing. Well, I suppose there must be a 5 on all. Yeah, okay, that's perhaps not a stupid thought. Okay, so if you can't put 1 and 9 on a 4-cell Renban line, the digits you're selecting from are just 7 digits. They're the middle digits of the sequence 1 to 9, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you're selecting 4 cells from 7 cells, or if you're selecting 4 consecutive digits from 7 digits, you must always have the middle digit in your set. It's impossible to leave it out. So, yeah, okay, so look, where does 5 go in box 6 now? It's got to go on the Renban line. Box 6, I think I said. I meant to say box 4. Because it can't go here. You can't put 5 in those 3 squares. You can't put 5 in those 3 squares. So your 5's got to go in those 3 squares, and it can't go here because it's on an X, and you'd have to double 5 it. So, yeah, we're going to get, I think, similar logic flowing around this grid. So we've now got 5's eliminated from these 2 cells. Because again, we've already got the 2 5's we need for row 1 and row 2 in these 8 cells. We can't be adding more 5's in those 2 cells, because then we'll have 3 5's in 2 rows of the Sudoku, and that won't work. Similar thing there. Look, 5's got to be here, can't be here, you'd have to double 5 the X. Same thing there. So yeah, what I'm learning from this is we've got to pay massive attention here to symmetry, because as soon as you do anything in this puzzle, because it's so symmetrical, you know, if we do something up here and it works, we should instantly be looking to do the same thing down there because the symmetry is likely to mean the logic still works down there. The symmetry is only being broken in a very few places. Now what do we do? Now I'm wondering if I've got to think about box 6 again, because now I can't put 1 or 9 on this horseshoe anymore, because it's got a 5 on it. So I've got to put a 1 and a 9 into 2 of those 5 cells, but I can never join the 1 and 9 on a Renban line, because obviously if you put 1 on here, you're going to have to put the 2 with it, not the 9. So you could have sort of a 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple like that. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that this square is a 1 or a 9, in which case, because it's on an X, that square will be a 1 or a 9. And that will mean you'd have to put a 1 or a 9 on this one. So if this was 1, that would be 9. This would be a 9-8 Renban, and vice versa, with a 1-2 Renban, if you did it the other way round. I mean, that's very minimal as a deduction, isn't it? So what we're learning is that this Renban is always made up of 1, 2, 8 or 9. It's either a 1, 2 or an 8, 9, which is perhaps the world's most useless deduction. Congratulations, Simon, you have discovered the world's most useless Sudoku deduction. Poppins, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, can we do 1s and 9s in any of these other Renban lines? We can. So the 1 and the 9 in box 3. Okay. A horrible feeling this is about Flistamafel somehow, because you've got some sort of symmetry, look, with where the 1s and 9s are going in boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. Well, if you put 1 or 9 in this domino, the 1s and 9s go round the grid. Because if you put 1 or 9 there, once you put one of them in this domino, you have to put the other one because it's on an X. So you get a 1 and 9 pair here, and now that would go there in box 7, there in box 9, and there in box 3. So that would all be totally forced. And that's suspicious, because that would be very nice with this thermometer. If this was a 1-9 pair, you can't put 9 in the bulb, and the same would be true there. So I like this. That looks very, very plausible to me. So if you don't put 1 or 9 in the X, they'd go there in box 1, they go there in box 3. Oh, I see. They actually get reduced to different dominoes. That's fascinating. So if you don't put 1 or 9 in this yellow domino, you end up with a blue pattern of 1s and 9s instead of a yellow pattern of 1s and 9s. But that doesn't look like... I'm just trying to see if there's a way of seeing which of those is correct. The only things I'm seeing are these two purple lines coming out of the yellow domino in one case and the blue domino in the other. So if the yellow domino was true, this square would have to be a 2 or an 8. I'm not really seeing anything to do with that. If this domino was true, this square... See, this is not going to get me anywhere, is it? If this is a 1 or a 9, this is a 2 or an 8. Ah, that doesn't work. Wow, wow. So the key to this puzzle is this short stubby Renban line. That is not what I was expecting at all. That's really clever. Right, let us focus on this Renban line, because it is powerful in ways that you would not expect. So, if blues are the 1-9 pairs in the various boxes, this square here, well, in fact, let's just do it longhand. We get 1s and 9s here. This square has to be a 2 or an 8, but the critical thing is that this square is not a 1 or a 9. And that means, look where 1 and 9 goes in box 4. Not here, not on the 4-cell Renban line, which has got a 5 on it, not here, because this square, because of the short stubby Renban line, it has to be a 2 or an 8. Therefore, the 1 and the 9 in box 4 have to go in those 3 squares. And therefore that square cannot be a 1 or a 9. So it self-contradicts itself. So if you start from the presumption of a 1 or a 9 domino here, you instantly can disprove it. So it's wrong. And if it's wrong, that's actually good for once. Because that means all of the blues are wrong. And that means all of the blues lose their blueness. And the yellows are correct. And the yellows all have to be 1s and 9s. As Maverick flies past my window. And now we can do the logic with the bulb end here. This is a bulb, it cannot be a 9. So that's 1, that's 9. This is the end of a thermometer, so it can't be a 1. We'd have to put a 0 or less in the bulb. You can place 1, look, in box 2 by Sudoku. It's got to go there because it can't go on its own thermo. Ah. So that's interesting as well. Look what Memeristor's done there. Disambiguated a potential deadly pattern of 1s and 9s. Using a thermo. That's very elegant. And of course, because of the symmetry, we just turn the puzzle round and do the same thing at the bottom. So the question you ask at the bottom is, where does the 9 go in box 8? Well, the 9 can't go on its own thermo, so it's going to have to go there, and you unwind another deadly pattern of 1s and 9s. This is really interesting. Okay. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Now this, remember, this is an odd domino adding up to 10. It's not 1, 9 anymore. That square can't be a 1 or a 9. That's a 3, 7 pair. Okay, yeah, and that we can't symmetrify and make work, because this domino, of course, is not subject to the same constraints, because we don't have the same pattern of Renbans in box 6 as we have in box 4. We've got less useful ones here. This square now is 2 or an 8, because it's got to be consecutive with 1 or 9. I can't quite see what that means, I don't think. 2, 8. 2, 8 can go on the Renban line. It would be very useful. Well, no, maybe it wouldn't even. I'm not sure. It's almost, what I almost want to do with this puzzle is to highlight all the cells that can't be 1s and 9s. Yeah, in fact, that's a good question regarding this cell, isn't it, and box 6. Because now this can't be a 1 or a 9. That is quite profound. Where does that square go in box 6? Well, it can't go by Sudoku, it can't go in its column. It can't go on the Renban line, because the Renban line has a 5 on it, so you can never get to an extreme digit within 4 goes. 5, 4, 3, 2, or 5, 6, 7, 8, never get to 1 or 9. So this square has got to be there. Those two are the same digit. So we will award them the rank of blue again. So this is a 1 or a 9. Aha, now I've got a 2-8 pair in row 6, look. These two squares are the same. Well, not the same, but they're a 2-8 pair. Which... does that matter? I feel like that does matter somehow. I just can't quite get my head around. Well, when I say I can't quite get my head around, I mean I can't get my head around how. Sorry, yeah, I'm not seeing. Oh, can I do symmetrical logic then? So I'm just wondering, because I've proved those are the same, if I flip the grid 180 degrees, can I do that same with that cell? No. Oh yes! I was about to say no, because this cell hasn't got the same orangeness as its counterpart here. But I don't need orangeness to do it. This square can't be a 1 or a 9 by Sudoku-ness. Yeah, okay, so that square can't go there, can't go on a 4-cell Renban with a 5 on it, and can't go here. So that square is a 1 or a 9. And therefore that square is a 2 or an 8. And these two squares are the same. Right, they're getting coloured in. These two squares are the same. They're getting coloured in as well. So we've got... yeah, these are different, aren't they? These are different. So I've done these in red, and they are indeed different from blue, because the consecutive digit with this red one is this cell, which is in the same row as this one. So if red was equal to blue, then that would imply these should be the same colour, which they are not, because they're in the same row of the Sudoku. So green is down here. Oh, no, but that doesn't actually... I still don't think I know where green goes in that one, do I? Do I know where red goes in that one? Yes, I do. Where does red go in this box? It doesn't go on the Renban line for the reasons we've talked about a lot. It doesn't go there by Sudoku. It doesn't go in any of those 3 squares because it's not blue. So it goes there. That's red. That's huge. So this is red. Therefore this is green because it's on a Renban line and consecutive with red. So that... so now green is in one of those cells. Red... ah! Yeah, okay, and where does red go in the middle box of the grid? Only there, by Sudoku, because can't be there, because there's a 1 and a 9 looking at that cell. So this square is a red 1 or 9, which means this square is a green 1 or not a 1 or 9, it's a 2 or an 8. Good grief. Right, we can carry on. This is a beautiful Sudoku puzzle. Now look at this. What is that domino? It adds up to 10. It's not 1, 9. It can't be 2, 8 or 3, 7 because if it was, these cells wouldn't be filled. So that's 4, 6. Yeah, and this is absolutely beautiful. Good grief. Now I'm just going to go round this grid, aren't I? I am. This. Look at this. This now can't be 1, 9. It can't be 2, 8 because it was a 2, 8 pair. That would have no value. It can't be 4, 6 because that would have no value. So it's got to be 3, 7. And now we can do this one. Because this one now can't be 3, 7 or 1, 9. So it's an even way of making 10, which is not 2, 8 because this would have no value. So that's 4, 6. So now we've got a 4, 6 and a 3, 7 pair in the middle box. So, oh, I see. So I've got to put 2s, 8s, 1s, 9s and 5s. So 5 is in one of 3 places in box 5 now. That's nice. So 5 can't go here in box 8 because if it did, you'd have to put a 5 there and a 5 there and that won't work. So 5 goes here, Same thing happens in this square. Can't be 5, or you'd have to double the 5s there. So there's the symmetry slightly changed there. It's almost 90 degrees symmetry. And I guess that might be because I can't quite get my head around how this works, but I suspect it's because this Renban line is not symmetrically disposed there. So the symmetry has been slightly thrown off. Anyway, that can't be a 5, and that's going to have to be a 5. So now this row looks almost completed. We've not used... Oh, we've got a double 1 now. This square's got to be 4. Well, 4 or 6, the world's most useless pencil mark, because what we wanted there is a more extreme digit, not the closest one to 5 we could possibly find. Okay, so what do we do now? What we have to do now is to... not got a clue. I mean, I really haven't got a clue. Where... No, okay, so I've just noticed this Renban line. It can't have 1, 2, 8 or 9 on it, so it must have 5, 6 and 7 on it. Not 5, 6 and 7, what am I talking about? 4, 5 and 6. It's got to have the middle digits, because what we're doing here is we've removed 1, 2 from that side, 8, 9 from that side, so we've got a string of 5 digits which are 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. We've got to pick 4 of those that are consecutive, so the middle 3 have to be included, and I see it's going to be whatever we don't pick from the 3 and the 7 that goes in there. So okay, don't know what that means. So let's... Problem here is I don't like the look at all of columns 7, 8 and 9. I mean, what is it in the nature of the pencil markings or the horseshoes? There's nothing there that looks even remotely interesting. A 9 at the end of a thermo, bleh, don't like it. So does that mean I can't do anything in column 1, 2 and 3 as well? What about that square? No, that's a useless square. I've already maligned this square quite fairly. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything there either. So middle 3 columns. Ah, yes. Oh, right, sorry, I should have seen this immediately. This is massively powerful. Good grief, Simon. Right. Oh, big firework just went off outside. This, I don't know what it's celebrating. What day is it? No, it's not our patron reward. Our patron reward doesn't come out till later. Now, this is a 4 or 6. Well, how does that affect that Renban line? Massively is the answer, because it's removing a very central digit from that string we've been talking about. So if that's a 4, this has to be made up of high digits that aren't as high as 9. So if that's a 4, you've got to go 5, 6, 7, 8 there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be 2, 3 on the thermo. I can't see why that's impossible. But if this is 6, now these digits have to be selected from the low digits, because there aren't enough consecutive digits remaining to be 7 and 8 and 5. You can't get the other digit you need. So if this is 6, you've got to go low, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is going to be 7 and 8. So that's 7, that's 8. Ah, it's so close to being a something, isn't it? 2, 7, 3, 8. And that is the same logic at the top, is it? Yeah, yes, it is. Look, you've got exactly the same. 4 or 6 here. that's going to force that rem band and force exactly the same. That's either 2, 3 or 7, 8. And now what are these the same or no? They're okay. They're different, right? So if that's a 4, what happens is that that's a 4 and that's a 6. So these are different digits. Now that means that these thermos are filled with different things. So if this is 2, 3, that's 7, 8. So if that's 2, 3, that's 7, 8. I feel like there's something going on here. In fact, let's just check what this digit can be. This digit has to be... Can we get rid of anything? 2, 3, 7 or 8? Two, 3, 7 or 8, but you've got to be a bit careful there. Not quite seeing whether I can do something with that. It feels like... Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right, let's look at this square here. It definitely can't be 7. I've just worked that out. Let me just see if I can do any better than that. It's definitely not 7. Yeah, there's something going on with the interaction of this square and these squares. Because if this is 7, we then know the contents of the thermo. The thermo has to be a 2, 3 thermo, because this is all the high digits. But if it's a 2, 3, if this is a 7 and this is a 2, 3 thermo, you've got 3 there and 7 there, and that square's got a big problem. So that is definitely not 7. So if 7, yeah, it's actually very beautiful. Now if this is 2, you've got to set the same problem, but not with this square, believe it or not, with this one. So if that's a 2, you've got to go 7 here, 8, and now this is a 2, 8 pair, and that's got no fill. So that doesn't work either. So this square here is now down to 3. Well, this is beautiful. Right, I'm stopping here. This is now a 3, 8 pair, and therefore these two squares are resolved. That is unbelievable. So now we've got, that's a 7, that's a 3, that's a 2. And if that's a 2, that's a 1, and that's going to get us loads of stuff. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, nori nori. 9 here, that's an 8 now. This is a 1, this is a 9. That's a 9. How many 1s have we got? All of them. How many 9s have we got? Not all of them. 9's in that domino. 9's in this domino. And surely this has cracked the puzzle, hasn't it? Can I now resolve this? If this is a 3, 8 pair, so if this is low, that's got to be a 6, and that will be a 7, 8 pair. If this is high, this is a 6, 7 pair, that's a 4, and this is a 2 and 3. I think it still works. So even though we've learnt this is a 3, 8 pair, I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure I can do anything with it. Right, let's try other things. 3. 3 has to be on that rem band. If 3's on the rem band, 4's on the rem band. Does that do anything? If 3 and 4 are on the rem band, this is either 2, 3, 4, 5 or 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not got 7 and 8 on the rem band. So the 7s and 8s in those cells. Does that do anything? Oh, you rotten thing. I don't think it does. Ah, that's got 7 on it. Look, this one. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 now because this became a 3. 3, 7 here, so there's no 7s up there. This 7 is giving me this 3, of course, so that's 7. That's been available for a while. Sorry, I just didn't see it. 7 is now forced onto that Rembrandt line. So again, now we're back in symmetry world. Because the 3 got forced into that Rembrandt, now its symmetrical counterpart, you can see the digits are adding to 10 here. In fact, are they adding to 10? No, then the symmetry is not requiring that the digits that are symmetrical counterparts add to 10. But they are in the case of the 3 and the 7 here. This 3 and this 7 obviously do add to 10. The 7 is forced down here, and the logic is very analogous to what we were just doing. Now there's a 6 on the Rembrandt line, because once there's a 5 and a 7 on it, there must be a 6. So now this Rembrandt line can't have 2 and 3 on it, because we can't get as high as 7 if we've got a 2 or a 3 on the Rembrandt. 3 now has to be in this domino in box 4. Oh. Can we lock 7 onto this Rembrandt? No. No is the answer to that. Oh, Simon, come on. There must be things we can do here that are going to help us. We can 4, 6 here. I have a horrible feeling that there's some very, very simple way of resolving these thermos now, and I just don't see what it is. Oh, Simon. How do we do this now? Maybe we've got to look at the Rembrandts we've not looked at yet. What about that one? That one can't be 1, 2 or 9, so we're selecting... Well, we're selecting 4 digits from 6 digits, so the central 2 digits must be in. So the central 2 digits are 3, 5 and 6. There's a 6 on this Rembrandt. I've got a digit. Right, okay, there we go again. Right, there's a 6 on the Rembrandt, there's a 6 on that Rembrandt. So where are we putting the 6 in column 3? Not there, not there. That's not a 6, that's not a 6. That is a 6. So that's a 4. That's... Aha, now we've done it. Now we've done it. Yes, 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 yes. This is absolutely massive, because now we've broken in. Once we got those 2 digits, we now can do the disambiguation. Let me just tidy up my pencil marks as well, because that's a 5, 6 pair now. So this is a 4, 7 pair. There's a 7 in one of those 3 squares. So that's 7. That's 4. 4 is now forced onto this Rembrandt by Sudoku. Unfortunately, 4 is probably the most useless digit we could have forced onto that Rembrandt, but okay, well let's come back to what I was thinking before. Once this is 4, this Rembrandt line now cannot include the digits 2 and 3, so it must be high digits, so it's 8, 6 and 7. This square here is now the 3, this is the 2, and we know the contents of this thermo. That's not a 2 or a 3, so that's a 2, 3 pair in box 7. These 2 squares are 4 and 8 to complete the column. Not sure if we can finish that way, but now we can go and do exactly the same thing up here. This is a 6, so these are the low digits. These are 2, 3, 4 and 5. We know that those are not 5. We know those are not... those are not 3 or 4. That's huge. So that's a 2. That's a 7. That's an 8. This is a 5. That square is not 2 or 5, so we've got a 3, 4 pair in this column. So now we know these 2 digits, which are 5 and 9. Which means this square here has got to be, yes, you've guessed it, an 8. That's an 8, that's a 9, that's a 3. That's a 9, that's a 5. And we must be near now. What a debut, though. This is just an absolutely genius puzzle. It really is. Come on. Don't mess it up now. I I can't see anything easy to do, that's the problem. We know there's a 5 and a 6 on this. Do we know any other digits that have to be on there? It's got 5 and 6 on it. Don't know. 8 could be on it. If 8's on it, it's got to have 7 on it. And then these two squares would be 4 and 3, which is impossible actually. That's quite harsh, but it's quite difficult to see, but it's true. If that was a 3-4 pair, this would have no value. So what you can't do is put 8 on that 8 on the Renban. If you can't put 8 on the Renban, now you've got to have a 4 on the Renban. And if you've got to have 4 on the Renban, it's got to be over there. And this square can't, of course, now be a 4. So that's an 8. That's a 4. And the other digit that's contributing here is 3 or 7. We still don't know what that is. This is not an 8. We do know that. Oh, that, in fact, 7, 8 there. Oh, this is good. Right, where does 8 go is what I should have been asking in that box. Now it's got to be exactly here. There's a 7. Now there must be a 7 exactly here. That's lovely. That gets me a 3, 4 and 3. Now I know that one does have a 7 on it, so let's mark it up. That is a 4, 5, 6, 7 Renban. 7's come off here. 4's come off here. Oh, you rotten thing. You rotten thing. It's not finished. What about this? Oh, yeah, well, let's have a look at this column, maybe. So this column still needs 2's, 5's, and 6's in some way. That's a 2 or a 6 in this square. And this Renban we don't know very much about yet. So, what would be a sensible question to ask about this? We've got 6's and 7's here. Right, there's a sensible question. Is there a 7 on this Renban? Nope. Because if there was, there would have to be a 6 on it as well. And if there's a 6, 7 there and a 6, 7 there, where would the 6 and 7's go in row 7 of the grid? Well, they'd have to go in those 3 squares. I could put 1 here, but I couldn't put 2 here. So there's no 7 on this Renban. And if there's no 7 on the Renban, it must go there. And that gets me a 7. That gets me a 6. That gets me a 2. That gets me a... Yeah, that gets me a 3 here. That gets me a 2 there. Now this needs to be an 8. Feeling that 8's been available for a while. I'm not sure though. Now we know this Renban. This Renban is 3, 4, 5, 6. Now can we do anything with that? We can get rid of 4's from those. Oh, we can't. I don't believe it. Oh, get rid of 3's from those as well. Right, these are 5, 6. Thank goodness for that. This is 3, 4. 5, 6, 3, 4. So I've now got a 5, 6 pair here. So I know those top digits are from 2, 3 and 4. And that square's a naked single out of nowhere. Good grief. And this 4 is giving me some stuff down here. That's becoming a 2. So this is 3, 5 and 6. So that's a 5 or a 6. That's now a 3. Now this can't be a 6 because it wouldn't be consecutive with 2, 3 and 4. So that's a 5, that's a 6, that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 6. That one is consecutive, that one is consecutive. There's no 5's over here anymore. In fact, we must be able to get rid of another digit here. What is it? 4. So this is 6, 7. That means that's a naked single. That becomes a 4. And we can tidy up everything down here. And I hope this is going to now finish, or we really have had a ricket. Oh, correction, I've had a ricket. Right, this is a 5, 6 pair. Oh gosh, what if it's deadly? I don't want a deadly pattern now. And this is a 7, 8 pair. The 8 is very helpful. The 7, the 7, the 6, the 6, the 5. Yes. Wow. Wow. That is some sort of genius puzzle. That is brilliant. The symmetry is incredible. And the little use of like the breaks in the symmetry to create this lovely logical flow I mean, it's really clever, this. It really is startlingly clever. I loved many bits of this. I loved the idea that, just the simple idea at the start, which is that you can't have extreme digits on the sort of Fistemafel 2x2s, is clever. That was very nice indeed. And then from there we were able to basically build up and work on the 1s and 9s, and that was very cute as well. And then again, these little breaks in the symmetry allowed us to work out some stuff. This was tricky down here, working out that this digit was restricted because of the nature of the thermo. There may have been a sweeter way of doing that, but I think it was logical what I did. And it's sort of, whatever you did, it broke one of these two squares if you weren't careful. So that's lovely as well. Yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I do enjoy reading them, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition. Cracking the Cryptic.